I can't comment.
Bean pie, my brothers and sisters. This is a day of atonement. This is the Popular Misfit Podcast. This your boy S.O. I got my girl Shannon in here. My guy Ivan in here. What's good with y'all?
What's up? What's up?
We have a special guest in the building. Why don't you tell everybody out there in Radio Land who you are, guest?
Hi, this is Lynne Jasames.
Ooh, Jasames. Where you hailing from?
I am in the building.
That's what's up. That's what's up. That's what's up. What you got moving today? Tell us a little bit about yourself, like your history, your background, your story.
Oh, okay. Well, everybody know me from my story being I talk about beating the odds. Okay. I wrote my first book, It's Okay to Cry. Then I wrote a second book, It's Okay to Cry When the Odds Are Against You.
Before we go to the book, let's talk about your personal life. Let's talk about your upbringing.
Oh, my story.
Story.
Oh,
yeah.
really? It's funny you bring up my story because I grew up without my father, and I just went and spoke at a high school in California, in Long Beach. Mm-hmm. And while I was there, that particular week, I learned a lot about my dad.
Okay.
That I had never knew before, even down to his birthday.
Were you born and raised in Vegas?
I was born in California, L.A.
Okay.
South Central. My mom, was actually from.
I don't know. I just like to say when people say from L.A. or Oakland.
You blood or cuz.
You blood or cuz.
You blood or cuz.
I'm partner.
Hey, neutral. Remain neutral. I like that. I like that.
I'm partner.
Okay.
But I grew up right there. Well, actually, I didn't grow up in South Central. We left.
Okay.
When I was little, and
right.
we moved to Las Vegas. When my mom went to prison as a teenager. So, just learning what I just learned about. I grew up feeling like. You know how you had that first experience where you feel like life is unfair? Mm-hmm. I just really understood that it wasn't really feeling unfair. I was feeling grief, loss, and trauma.
Okay.
But I couldn't describe it. You know what I'm saying? But as I'm on my journey to help people become better, as I'm on my journey to pursue things that's making us step into our greatness more, even from where we come from, then you learn what these things mean, right? You learn what it means to, life wasn't fair. I was traumatized. I was feeling a lot of grief. I was feeling a lot of trauma. Right. So how do I handle that? A lot of loss, being separated from your mom as a little girl to go live in a whole different state. You don't understand what that's going to do to you until you get older. So my platform now is really trying to. So I've been able to come from some very extenuating circumstances. We moved here when we were little to live with my grandfather. When my mom went to prison the first time, my mom came back. Everything seemed to be okay. My mom ended up getting on drugs really bad from having a back injury. So that's when the decline of life started really happening for us, After her back injury, she started using drugs. It don't have a serious impact till later on. So I must have like around 7 or 8. By the time I was, in my early teens, she was gone. We experienced her sitting in front of the projects in like a drug coma. And we just had to watch her as kids. And we didn't really know what to do. We just stood there until somebody passed by and, did something to make her come out of it, But even understanding what shame is for us in our society and what it does to us as women, as children, and we carry that throughout our life, So those are the things. Ended up in foster care. So I share a lot in my books about my journey. Ended up in foster care, being very successful, coming through foster care. I had my first son at 14. I had my second son at 16, and I had my third son at 17.
You was a mother at 14?
Yeah, I had 4 by the time I was 20.
Wow.
Yeah. I entered foster care in the 9th grade with no credits because I had my oldest son. So I didn't have no credits in the 9th grade, and I graduated on time with my senior class.
How did you pull that off, if you don't mind me asking?
It was a mindset. I ask kids today, do you think I believed I could do it? And they be like, well, no. And I'm like, something inside me believed I could. That's why I did. And that's important that we teach our children to understand, to believe in themselves. Because if I didn't have that belief, there's no way I could have pulled that off. I went in with a baby, family feeling rejected because nobody from the family would get us. We aged out of foster care. We didn't stay in foster care.
Yeah, because I can't even imagine my 14-year-old now, having a
baby.
Yeah.
Or working a hotline and getting them phone calls and then baby just, 14-year-old just had a baby and you got to do an assessment, on what's happening. And my heart would drop every time to know that was even me, but it impacted me the same every time. It never felt different. It impacted me every time. that 14-year-old having a baby. Like, even if they was 15 or 16, I felt it in my stomach, and that was me. But it's still the same effect, you know.
How did it feel the second time you ended up with a baby? Like the second time?
Well, the second time, okay, so it was a little. So I was on birth control with the second baby, but it wasn't working clearly.
As my mama would say, did you take the pills every day?
Yeah, but it was traumatizing too,
right.
because even I talk about choices, right, in my platform when I do my trainings with my youth, and the important to realize in choices is, so when I went into foster care, it was hard to place me and my oldest son Patrick, right? It took the sixth foster parent to say, I'll take him. You know, that means 5 other people said, I'm not taking no 14-year-old with no baby, you know. And so she said yes, but it was always that threat of being separated. Always. So when I got pregnant with the second one, it was more traumatizing, because it was like, you jeopardizing your kids. But when you're a kid, you don't understand.
Right.
You know, when you're a kid, the irresponsibility, you know, you so immature. But when you used to surviving on your own, because your mom hasn't been there, you can nobody tell you you're immature and irresponsible. So I attribute it to being immature and irresponsible. But it was scary, because now I got 2 children with a threat to be separated from.
Yeah.
So it was scary. A lot of stuff was going through my head. I really, you know, thought negative thoughts. I was scared, you know, about what I should do, how I should handle it. I think an abortion never came up, because going to church every Sunday with my foster mom, it wasn't an option. Like, you couldn't even think of having an abortion, because, like, we going to church Sunday morning, Sunday night, Wednesday night, Friday night, you know, so you don't think about those things, but it was traumatizing and scary.
You think the church kept you together, or it kind of just made you, like, go a little bit more on the other side?
Well, as far as church, when I see, church gave me a certain values and beliefs, you know, that I grew up with. That okay, so when you understand your truth, right?
Yeah.
Let's just say you have your truth. So I grew up rooted in, you know, Christianity, church, you know, but church came with a lot of pain for me. Like my mom, my grandmother would always pay for us to go to vacation Bible school. And that's the first time I felt like, you know, I got saved. I believe in God, but you grow up with these beliefs that they're your beliefs that somebody else is helping you form as a child. You don't have your own way of thinking as a child, and somebody's introducing you to a life that you're supposed to buy into. But then somewhere deep down inside, it still don't feel like that's for you, but you just do it because you're supposed to. So for me, like, even going to the church, we go to vacation Bible school, and the kids would talk about me and my sisters where we could hear them.
Yeah, church is the most judgmental place in the black community.
You know,
but
they, you know, we were like the outcasts, because we didn't go there every Sunday, and so that created a lot of stuff toward a negative connotation towards church people at a young age, because even if we heard them, other people heard them, but nobody never stopped them from talking about us and picking on us. You know, and we listened to grandma. You know, back in the day, grandma said something, you just did it. Right. You know, and so
you didn't test her
as far as church, I have a lot of I don't put my beliefs off.
Right.
But when I got out of church, I found a level of peace that when I tried to go back, it's not the same, and I can just keep it real. I don't knock what nobody do or how they do it, but for me, that just wasn't. It's not. I'm spiritual, very spiritual. Like, I gotta, my rituals I do every day. You know, me and God is very connected. He present in my life. You know, and it don't take 4 walls to do that.
Church to give you that. I agree.
So, y'all had to pay to go to vacation Bible school?
Back in the day, my grandmother did every summer.
That's crazy. They had tuition for vacation Bible school.
We just went.
That threw me when you said that. Like,
yeah. Was this a Kojic church?
Yeah. I'm not even going to say the name of it.
Does it start with Pentecostal Temple Church?
Oh, my God, PT.
You went to PT too?
Yeah, I went to PT.
I did too. What a coinky dink. Wow. I ain't even say nothing on that one. Ivan, you got any questions on this one?
About church?
Any day. Her story.
So, like, you say you grew up in the foster care system. Like, how did describe to me the foster care system for the uninitiated?
Okay, well, the foster care system is a place where children go when they cannot be placed in their home because they're at risk for some type of abuse or neglect. So you're placed out of your home. Okay. So that's what foster care is supposed to be, a place where you get your healing from, where you get nurtured and shown love, and it's a safe place. It's your safe place during that time that you're in foster care, because if you don't go back home, that means they never found your home safe.
Right.
What's the as a person who's was a ward of the state or whatever. Like, describe the process. Like, how was it for you going through the foster care system, the process?
Oh my God, it was a roller coaster ride.
Is it different now versus back then? Like how they placed? I think that's what you said.
Just
the process of
how did she, like, what did it feel like to go through the whole?
Personally, right?
Yeah.
So for me, it was up and down because, again, the threat of always being separated from my children and going back to me talking about choices. We can look at how me and my children turned out, right? They all graduated from high school on time with their senior class, right? We can look at, I graduated from high school on time. I got a bachelor's degree. I got a master's degree. We can make it all sound good, right? But when I try to talk about choices, it was when I gave birth to my third son that I realized how important my choices are. Because in the hospital, I share a story in the book where I heard the nurses talking about me. You know the statistics for a foster child and the statistics for a teen mom. You know, we're going to be disadvantaged. We're going to drop out of high school. We never going to get a college degree. We're going to live on welfare. We're going to end up in shelters or homeless or incarcerated. You know, that was definitely, even to go back and realize how much I was born into promiscuity, it kind of broke my heart. My aunties, knowing that they were prostitutes, and, my aunties giving birth at 13, and, my dad was a player, I found out. Like, they know that I share a story where my dad was dating my mom and my auntie. Now it makes sense. He was a real player.
And I got I ain't mad at you.
So I got, exposed to that. Like, that's my story. You know what I'm saying? And so, again, with the choice thing, I realized after I had my third son that you got to make better choices, because I didn't know if I was taking my third son home. I didn't know if my foster mom was going to say he could come too.
Right.
And so I jeopardized all 4 of us. And that was devastating. So when I talk about choices, when we're doing us, we're not thinking about nobody else when we're doing our thing, whether it's getting ourselves incarcerated, whether it's, having sex, having more babies. Like, we thinking about ourselves. We out here making these decisions. Our kids are ending up in DJJS trying to survive, but their consequences impacting their parents. Women and men who being incarcerated, it's impacting their children, their parents. Like, we don't realize our choices are not just about us in the grand scheme of things, but when we doing us, it feels like it's about us until reality set in.
Right.
So it's even though the outcome turned out good, no, our choices matter, and we need to just really take heed on how important they are at this point in our life for everybody involved. Okay. So it was up and down. I spent a lot of time feeling grateful. So my attitude was, okay, I don't have to worry about the lights getting turned off no more. I don't have to worry about if I'm going to get to the door and it's going to be locked. And, I'm going to release a new book, and I go so deep in my story, it sounds nothing like my first 2 books. Because of the perspective I have now about grief, loss, and trauma is different. And people not understanding that's driving our behaviors, whether we realize it or not. Even as adults, we doing things and we're having these children, and we're molding them off our own experiences.
Yeah.
I think yes and no. I think, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I know, I look at my daughter and I tell them that all the time too. Like, certain things that I feel like now that I'm older, things that I went through, and I'm like I needed my mama to tell me that she loved me. Like, I knew she loved me, but I needed to hear it.
Yes.
Like, I needed her to let me vent, to just hear me instead of reacting all the time. So, there's no blueprint, and every child needs to be parented differently.
Right.
And because I don't have one to kind of look at the other one, if you have 5 kids, you have to parent each 5 of those kids differently, because they all need something different from you.
Right.
And they're all different individuals. But I don't have that luxury because I only got one. So I'm trying to figure it out.
Luxury.
But I try to lead.
Having 5 kids is not a luxury.
Not a luxury. I'm saying a luxury of of doing things different. Like saying okay, I was able to do this one with that one and not with this one.
But
this one needed
child,
that.
You don't even understand that. You got to remember, I had them so young.
No, I'm saying now that I'm older and things that I went through and experienced.
So it's molding how you raise your
that's
daughter.
why I say yes and no, because the things that you went through is dang, I don't want her to have to go through that if she don't have to. So it's okay, let me give her this other lane, this other outlet. I didn't get to do sports and all that kind of stuff. I didn't get to do that.
Right.
So I try to keep her active. Okay, let me give her.
And it all stems from your upbringing,
right?
How you was raised, and so it's important. I have a lot of stuff being released in my new book that's probably gonna make people mouth drop. I get it, but I think it needs to be told. It's very important, even as young women, to bear the responsibility of the decisions that we making every day, even adults making decisions that's impacting children's lives and impacting how they're able to grow and develop into healthy young adults. So
this will be your 4th book.
Oh yeah, and it's called A Special Kind of Mama. Well, it was called A Special Kind of Mama, but some people was like, "But Lynn, you such a hell of a woman."
It's like I just got all the dirt in it.
So it's it's not even dirt. It's real. It's reality. But I changed it to A Special Kind of Woman because I got to be able to own I am a special kind of woman. It took me a long time to have the confidence to be proud of myself. It took a long time to appreciate who I've became as a woman, and it's not dirt, it's just real, and I didn't grow up with a dad, and I could be honest and own I don't know what it looked like for a man to love me. I have no clue. And tough. Men have driven a substantial part of my life. But we don't talk about that. You know what I'm saying? And that's just keeping it real. So, again, if I don't know what real love feels like, how do I know if I've ever really experienced it, right? So I'm navigating through these relationships trying to figure out, what it's supposed to feel like, what it's supposed to look like, how I'm supposed to be treated, what I'm not going to tolerate, what I'm not going to put up with, and at the end of the day, we have our own values and beliefs, and what we fall short of is we don't stay true to them.
What are the titles of your 4 books, and how do each 4 of them different?
So the first one is called It's Okay to Cry. The second one is called It's Okay to Cry When the Odds Are Against You. The third one is called How to Beat the Odds from A to Z. And this one is called A Special Kind of Mama. A Special Kind of Woman. I'm sorry. And so it's funny because even when you read the fourth book, all my books tie together, but I didn't even do it on purpose. Like they just developed like that. Even in the first book, in the second book, I talk about, I don't know if I was having a vision or I don't know what it was, but I felt like God was talking to an angel. And the angel asked God, like, why is she going to go through all that? And God's response was, because she can handle it. And I remember thinking, like, I can. I did. I can handle it. And with everything that happened in my life, I still feel like, okay, I can handle this, And in the book, in the 4th book, the angel shows back up in the 4th book. And so I wrote that book. I just released a book, my 3rd book in July. So I wrote that book in the middle of getting ready to publish that book. I'm on the floor. I don't know what time I started. I wake up at like 3 o'clock in the morning. I done pushed out a whole new book. And it's the angel shows up in this book. First it scared me. I was like, okay, like I was looking around the bathroom like, what, like, okay. And then I had to like really get with myself and say, God, I know you present in my life. There's no, hands down, you present in my life, right? And when I went back over the stuff I wrote, I was like, wow, this is some real, then it was, so are you ready to talk about that? Then it was, are you really going there? So then it was a part in the book that I had to call Patrick and was like, you want me to share that? And he was like, long as you keep it real. He was like, if you don't sugarcoat it, when you put it in the book, if you give it its rawness, you could put it in the book.
Give us a hint.
I was no.
Can't give us a
because
hint.
I'm gonna tell you when that part, bring me back on the show right before I release it, and I might give you a piece of it. But because again, we need to understand how important it is that we own our stuff and things that's embedded in our truth. Our truth does not make it true. Do that make sense?
It makes a lot of sense.
We can speak and say, oh, this is real, 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 real. But one thing is true. Energy don't lie.
Right.
Energy don't lie.
I agree there.
And when you trying to convince a person to believe something, but their whole being is saying, I don't know about that. That I'm not feeling that. Your truth can be killing somebody else's spirit because you're trying to carry that truth that even in your truth, you might be still telling a lie. And that's why I'm going to leave it.
Now, you said energy doesn't lie. Do you think that same rules apply when it comes to dating? Because we hear a lot of women saying they can't find a good man, or all these men ain't shit, and blase, and all this stuff about that's man bashing. But yet, if you say the energy don't lie, or it's truth in the energy, do you think that same rules apply to that concept, or that's just obsolete?
No, I'm not saying it's obsolete, but like for me, even with all I've been through my relationship, I love men. I'm sorry.
Right.
Straight up. And I'm not going to dog out no man because, first of all, we need to start owning our decisions. 9 times out of 10, we walked into that situation already kind of having a feeling on where it's going to go, and we convinced ourselves that we could create this shift. You understand?
What about Buster?
And then, hold on. Oh, we're going to talk about Buster. But, but let me say this too. And heed this when I say this. This is a real point.
Yeah.
A lot of women are going into these relationships. Okay, things, whoop-de-whoop-de-woo, and then they start hoping things go a certain way, trying to, a lot of times we manipulating the outcome. We trying to do things, conduct ourselves a certain way, buy stuff, pay for stuff. It's just the truth, right? But at the same time, we know we be so mad and disappointed in ourselves in ways that men can never disappoint us because we knew. So we really don't be mad at them. It's easier to project the energy off on them. We really be disciplined.
You knew better.
You knew better. So the disappointment is really not in them.
So y'all bring the negative energy into
No, we're not
situation.
bringing the negative energy when it becomes negative. Listen.
Okay.
So when
I'm
we
listening.
in it, it feels good.
Right.
Let's keep it real.
Yeah.
Them feelings are good. They real in that moment, right?
Right.
But what I'm saying, when things start not going the way we want them to, even for men. Now I talk to a lot of men. I be low key with my stuff. I'm smart in the aspect to know that men's need their confidence. Our men need our confidence no matter what. They do, hands down. So I'm not here to destroy that. I'm not here to tamper that. I'm here to say for women who signing up and getting these relationships that they know ain't going to yield the result they want, don't be afraid to walk away. Walk away with confidence. Walk away knowing that you gave it. See, I don't go back. I don't have to go back because I knew I was who I was. And only thing if I said if I would redo some stuff, it's me letting down some of my values and beliefs. See what I'm saying? Me saying I hold this position, but I'm gonna try to adjust it for him.
Right.
That's where I feel defeated. Like I should have just stayed firm. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be honest with you. I just really realized that men just hit this reality. I'm 49 years old. Men have a perception and a fantasy about me.
What's that
fantasy?
Hold on, let me finish.
Okay.
Because you could tell about what a person say to you and how a person come at you.
Right.
So you take me. Here I am, Lynn. I had 4 kids by the time I was 20. Now I got 5, right? So it creates a perception, right? It does automatically.
Absolutely.
I had one of my closest friends. I know she didn't mean no disrespect, but you know what she told me?
What?
She said, "Girl, I look at you and I be like, that bitch a freak. You a freak." And I'm like, "But no, I'm not. I'm really not. Like, I was in my 30s still on my back with the lights off. What are you talking about?" You know what I'm saying? So it's like I'm assessing how people talk to, what men say to me and how they come at me. And when I'm arguing with you over, no, I'm not sleeping with you on the first night that I sleep at your house, and it's an argument, I had to realize it's coming from perception.
You still get that at that age?
Oh my God, I still get that at that age. Like, and they 52, and I'm like, I'm not sleeping with you because this is the first time over my house.
40s. I want to know how that life is about.
For me, it has been a learning experience. Okay. Because again, it's only based on what I know, or what I think I know, or my values, or my beliefs, or my ideals. Because we run around here with a bunch of ideals of how it should be. By the time you get finished listening to Stephen Speaks and Jackson, it's like writing all these books, Women Wear Your Crown. I get it. We should be wearing our crown. We should be doing all that, but at the same time.
First of all, stop listening to Derek Jackson.
Yeah.
That's your first
No, I'm not saying I listen to him. Yeah. See, I'm not saying I'm listening to him, but I'm saying he's out there.
Right.
That's my point.
He needs to
so
stop
when I'm
being out there.
saying, when I'm saying about women, and we creating these ideals and stuff about what relationships it looks like, these people talking about how we should be treated, what we should put up with, what we shouldn't. I'm no expert by all means, but if I could leave one thing with a woman, is be true to yourself and your values and your beliefs, because that's what leave us broken. We're letting them down for the wrong men. We're trying to do different things. Like for me, like I'll go do something that I ain't done with a person and be like, I knew he wasn't the one, but you did it anyway. So I can't be mad at him. I can't be mad at no man I've dealt with probably since I was in my 20s. You know why? Because you a choice. And because I know you a choice, I gave you an opportunity. And guess what? You know what they say. I know what you feel in your stomach at night because I ain't feel.
So that means no Instagram filters if you want to be true to yourself.
I do the filters. I won't say that because filters are fun for me. So I do both.
But there's lying though.
I do both. Well, no, if you can go to my page and see my real me, then that's different.
Right.
Now, if my whole page is no filters, I think that's a little different. To me, filters are fun. Like I just was finna talk about energy and got on there and they got this one with the atoms and stuff. I was like, this filter cute. You know what I'm saying? And
especially not needed in this day and age.
Well, that's unfortunate. Them headshots is a beast. So I get it. But I do both. Wow. So I'm confident in either way. I could do both. So I'm cool with it.
Okay, so I have a question based on something I read in the book.
Okay.
And it's based on a conversation I was having with somebody recently.
Okay.
In the book, you talked about being molested.
Uh-huh.
Do you feel like being molested at an early age, do you think that has had an impact on the way you deal with men, especially like sexually?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
How so?
Absolutely.
Well, it does because, again, we talk about, so let's talk about what sexual abuse creates in women, girls, even men, right?
Okay.
Mm-hmm. The statistics is 1 in 4 women has had some form of sexual abuse. It's 1 in every 8 men, 1 in every 8. So we both out here in this race, and that's what we know, because it's a whole bunch we don't know. Let's keep it real. That's just what we know, right? So what that creates, it creates shame. Right? A lot of anxiety, a lot of depression, a lot of self-esteem issues, a lot of questioning. It creates body issues. It just creates a lot of stuff that comes from that. It even creates guilt. I work in a profession that when children are being placed in facilities and stuff, it's leading back to some form of sexual abuse from somebody they knew and they trusted. You understand?
Yeah.
So it creates a lot of stuff. But when you're trying to cycle through that stuff, being molested at a young age and you holding secrets, you don't think that's going to impact you when you get older? Because you already been taught to hold a secret. Then the shame part of it, right? It's something shameful because as a child, you questioning, did you do something to make them do it to you? You don't know as a child, it's not your fault. You know, you hear things and they say things like, I share in the book, I was exposed to having sex with a 20-year-old man and I was 12. You know, and the devastation it had on me when he walked in the store when I was 20. Now, at 12, I was cool. At 12, I thought I knew what I was doing. At 12, I thought it was cute because my friends had to go in the house, but I get to hang outside in the back with the guys. You know, I'm better than them. What? How you think you better?
You could decide you want to be a man or a woman at 12.
You know, so at 12, I'm able to hang out, but at 12, I was prey. See, you see what I'm saying? At 12, you prey. So even when you think you know what you're doing, you really don't. And the impact it have on you as an adult, because in that instant, when he came in the store, you know, he was like, put 20 on pump 5, something like that. And I froze. Now, my year 12, I thought it was cool. I thought I knew what I was doing. I remember never walking the same. Yeah, I want to know where this walk come from. I never walked the same after that. But, you know, realizing when he came in, I felt instantly disgusted. I'm in my 20s disgusted about something that happened to me when I was 12. I'm in the store cycling through emotions like I'm in the middle of it. I'm in the store freaking out. It took me like 2 weeks to get over that. Like, it took me 2 weeks to like shift through the shame, the guilt, what was I doing? Like, why my mama wasn't there? So yeah, you carry that a long time, even so I consider that kind of like being raped at 12. The molestation came before that from one of my mom's boyfriend that I didn't even remember that until I was an adult with one of my fourth son's father triggered it. He kept saying something he was doing to me and my mind was like, oh, if he did all that to me, I'd have remembered that. I kept saying that to myself. And then we would have a little argument, but this particular day, his whole demeanor told me something happened, you know, he not just BSing me. Like, so I was washing dishes, I went and sat down, I was crying. And it was almost as if I could see it, but I can't go past the minute he got my pants down. I don't know what happened. When I could tell you everything, the breath that I felt, the smother that I felt experiencing that, like it all came back, but I can't go past the minute he got my pants down. I can't tell you what happened. And when I said, if you'd have did all that to me, I remember it. 2 days later, my mom had him give me a ride because it was my mom's boyfriend. And 2 days later, when he gave me a ride, he was telling me all this stuff he did to me. And I jumped out the car like, if you'd have did all that to me, I'd have felt it. That's how I wrapped it up.
Why would he tell you that? Why did he just decide to randomly tell you I molested you as a child?
No. It was 2 days after he had actually did it.
Oh.
So he was giving me a ride, and he was like, do you remember what I did to you? And I was like, no.
Okay.
And he was like, yeah, I did this and I did this. And he was like, you just laid there like you liked it. And I was like, no. And I jumped out the car thinking he lying, because if he did all that to me, I'd have felt it.
Right.
So that's where it stops. But again, as an adult, you have a way you got to feel about your body from experiences like that. Mm-hmm. You got to process emotionally. I wasn't emotionally ready for that type of stuff as a little girl, and I had nobody to help me carry those thoughts, those feelings, no safe place. You know, my mom, I remember her asking me the next day, like, why your pants down? I'm like, I don't know. And that's it. That was the gist of it.
What's one of the reasons you think you don't remember?
I don't know if I blacked out when he pulled my panties down, not to deal with it, not to, I don't know. I cannot go past that, and I struggle. Right. But I just woke up the next day and carried on with my little life. Because you had to. You had to.
Your mind, if you go through traumatic experiences, your brain will block it out a lot of times.
It creates, though, it can't cognitively develop appropriately. So you know how you see a 16-year-old and be like, they should know better, or what's wrong with them, like that they doing something that people would define as like stupid at 16.
Yeah.
They probably experienced some form of trauma, and then their brain didn't heal appropriately, so they not acting like a 16-year-old by our standards, because something has happened where they can't function at that level even though they're trying to.
Okay.
That's what that looks like.
So going what you just tell me, how did it directly affect the men, the way you interacted with the men you dealt with because of the sexual trauma that you experienced?
I can't speak from their point of view, but from my point of view, I've been so many different things in different relationships, because again, I'm trying to figure myself out, right? I'm trying to learn me and understand me and not get caught up in these ideals. Because a lot of women operating off ideas. People make a decision off watching Love and Hip Hop.
And Steve Harvey books.
You know what I'm saying?
And Derek Jackson.
So I'm not questioning whether they right or wrong. What I am saying is people making decisions for their life off stuff that they not holding that energy in that space. Only you know what's going on between you and another person.
Okay.
When I say be true to yourself, like when I'm dealing with somebody and I know I've been good to you, I don't have to go back because I gave you what I could give you. You wasn't ready to accept it. I got to go.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So I don't look back with no regrets. I don't be mad. Like with me and Buster was friends for a long time and stayed in a real friendship. Wasn't crossing stuff. We were genuinely friends. Only reason why we don't speak to this day, because of some situation. When it come to my kids, when you cross the line with them, you an outcast.
Buster's the
period.
father of...
None of my kids.
Okay.
No, none of them. So with that stuff with Buster, like even with Buster, I wasn't tripping. He was a choice. You know, he did some things that as a result of lying, you know, and stuff like that. But to some degree, if you wake up in the middle of the night, because God got my discernment on high alert. Like my discernment is real. And you go to somebody's house at 2:00 in the morning because something told you to get up, and I'm not scared. I'm gonna go find out what that is. You know, I might not get what I want when I get there. It may be what I know it's gonna be, but I may not want that. But I'm gonna stand up to that. So you can get up at 2:00 in the morning and not be wrong because you let your discernment lead you, and you play this game. The good thing, what I appreciate about Buster though, is because when I did say stuff to him about stuff he did, he didn't lie to me. He didn't want to tell me probably the truth, but he wouldn't lie. He would own it. Yeah. He probably was trying to figure out how I knew, like who told her, like. But you know, but he would be like, when I found out he was not living with his mama, he did not lie to me. He told me the truth, and you respect that more than don't play with me.
Right.
You know, don't make me think I saw you in the purple car and you telling me that wasn't you, but I just saw you in the purple car. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Because now you're playing with your intelligence.
Yeah. So again, I'm where I'm at because I know I'm good to the men in my life. I know I am. Hands down. I may not be perfect. I may not didn't know how to meet your needs based on how you needed me to, but I know I'm good. I'm not a liar. I'm not a cheater. I don't play games. That's what I don't do in relationships. And if I did, I didn't understand that's what I was doing. I was just trying to be me. You know what I'm saying? And again, we're constantly evolving as people. I should not be the same woman I was last year. You know, I'm on this journey to always be better and make the people in my life and the people around me better. That's all I want to do. Like, I want to make people better. And so whatever that looks like, if I got to put it in a book to try to get my point across, that's my mission. You know, my mission is I beat the odds. Hands down. And I want people to develop a mindset in relationships, education wise, raising your children. You know, I met some strong women going down there training at that jail for a year. Them women are beating the odds every day. Like, I watched Tom Buell and his platform. His platform is all millionaires, people who's had a massive amount of financial success. Well, I see some successful women down at Clark County Detention Center. I see some successful women when I go down to the Foundation for Recovery and speak. I see some successful women in my DM who beating the odds every day. And it don't come with a monetary value. It comes with you understanding, having a level of respect for yourself, understanding when you wake up, today gonna be a good day and I'm gonna get through no matter what. I was suicidal a lot of my times. I was suicidal up until recently. That's all I'm gonna say. And that mindset, when something goes there,
like you just wanted to end it?
Because some things get overwhelming. And because I'm okay because I know what to revert back to. I'm okay because the thoughts gonna come.
Right.
So that's what we need to remember. The thoughts are gonna come. We're not avoiding them. It's what we do with them. It's how we act upon them, right?
How close was you to like just saying?
I've never had a plan. Okay. But it's devastating for me to know that I would even have the thoughts. Who I am, the things that I've accomplished. So if I could still have them, when I'm looking at women every day, I'm trying to feel you. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to touch you in a way that, baby girl, you're going to be okay. You got this, you know, and we're getting caught up in. I just did a post the other day about being okay with where you are. If I'm having these conversations with women struggling with where they are, and I'm like, be okay with where you are. If you don't like it, well, let's figure out how we need to change that. But you can't change yesterday. But people getting on social media, beating up on themselves, they having these ideas about what stuff should look like, what they should be doing, how they should be doing it. That's unreal if that's not what you're doing. So let's stay in the present.
Real talk.
Let's stay in the present. Okay. If we stay in the present,
real talk,
we're going to perform different.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And lately, my biggest thing is I didn't get the rituals. I didn't get understanding how powerful they was until, you know, I had a lump in my breast and start saying a year before it's not, the lumps are not there no more. I was saying every day in an affirmation, one day I'm gonna touch my breasts and these lumps ain't gonna be here. I was saying that till one day these lumps ain't here. Period. Like, it's power in what we speak. A lot of times we say stuff internally. It's the stories. Like, I used to didn't understand. What do you mean it's a story I'm telling myself? I'm good. No, I'm not good.
Right.
But them stories is driving our behavior, driving our thoughts, driving our feelings. The best thing I heard Eric Thomas say was, when you low, you need to think about what you thinking about. Period. Think about that concept in itself. When you low. What took you low? What was you thinking? How was you feeling? So then it's a beautiful thing when you can put on that song that make you dance and move your body and bring you right up out of it. Say, I got my stuff. Like, men probably think I'm bougie, or men probably think I'm cocky and I'm arrogant. That's not cocky or arrogance. It's confidence in knowing that, first of all, I ain't got to put up with nothing. Right. You a choice. Just like, though, I understand I'm a choice for you. Right. I may not can meet your needs. I get it, boo-boo. Let's push it. Right. Let's just keep it pushing. It ain't right or wrong. You go do you. I'm just going to go do me.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So that's what we need to understand, even in relationships with our children. I just posted about our children are in pain, and we're mistaking pain for disrespect. A lot of times me and Patrick would bump heads, but we wasn't bumping heads because he was trying to disrespect me. We were bumping heads because my son was going through something and I wasn't meeting his needs. Period.
That's a tough one right there.
How key was communication in that whole situation to where both of y'all could understand each other's point of view?
It took like a major incident that maybe 3 or 4 people know about to bring us to where we are today. It's something that I thought would take at least minimally 2 years, a year mentally in my head, my ideal of it. It didn't even take 6 months. because I had to own, I'm sorry. I had to own, forgive me. I had to say, I love you, and I felt like he was putting a knife in my back. I had to still say, I love you. I had to not get prideful and be like, you don't talk to me like that, because if that was a point, that's what I was doing. Don't talk to me like that. And I don't so because I'm caught up in thinking he disrespected me and trying to fight for my position as his mother, not understanding, he trying to tell me. When I think about it, if that would have been somebody else's son, I would have probably saw it, the writing on the wall. Oh, let's get to the root of that. I missed it with my own son, and I can own that. You know what I'm saying? My pride and my joy, like hands down, my son amazing. And I'm not saying that because he's my son. My son is amazing, straight up, like hands down. He is a hell of a man. I'm sorry. And so me knowing that, I can own even in his greatness, even in my greatness. We come up short. I'm not gonna get this thing right every time. Right. I'm going to come up short, but guess what? I'm going to own I came up short. I'm going to own that I got 4 sons before I was 20 and didn't even know who I was. I'm going to own that I probably did not meet all their needs. You understand? I'm going to own that I probably wasn't a good mother. I'm going to own I made some fucked up choices trying to be a parent to some kids as a kid with all the grief, loss, and trauma that I had to experience that went untreated. See, my healing has come through trying to help other people. My healing has come through trying to educate and learn, how can I help these women in the jail be better? Oh, when people say to me, Lynn, what made you different? Because that's the number one question. How did I come from all that abuse, all that neglect, all that trauma, sexual abuse, domestic violence, mental abuse? I done been drug, and I can sit here today and smile and love on those very people. Every last one of them. You know what? Because I love me. I'm okay with who I am. But you got to own your stuff. And I talked about searching to make them better. Like, what can I give these women in the jail? I can't just go in here with my story like I'm somebody. They need something that's real to them, right? We need real. We need raw. When I talk about energy, you ain't faking the funk with people who've been traumatized. They may let you think you're doing something, and they might even play your game. But I tell people all the time, foster kids, we got like 10 senses. We don't got the minimum. We on high alert. We see you. We okay. Because we got something that's innately in us. We got a survival that foster children are not given enough credit, because we are amazing. We resilient. The minute you get placed in the foster care, your whole world different. You don't see, your lens is different. Who are you to come take me from my mama? Let me finish this point about what I'm giving people. So my biggest thing was, how did I cope? That's what made me different, my ability to cope in a healthy manner. People don't understand nail biting is a coping skill. You see what I'm saying? Tapping your foot is a coping skill. Running is a coping skill. Drugs is a coping skill. But we've been taught that people got to tell us how to cope. We built with how to cope. Every last one of us is what we tapping into at that time. When I could tell a woman that was on drugs for 20 years, that was clean for 5, and I can tell her, oh my God, you tapped into some healthy coping skills, and she cried like she had just been clean for 2 days because she never knew she had them. So she thought because somebody told her what to do, that's how she did it. No, you did it. You know what I'm saying? Like, somebody was like, you know what, girl, you're going to be the next Sarah Jake Roberts. But it was easy for her because her dad is Bishop Jake. No. That ain't Bishop Jake's on the stage. Yeah. That's Sarah on the stage. Right. Sarah putting that work in. So again, the mindset and how we view life. And if I felt like they wanted me to get caught up in me not having access or her playing field because the way she was able to embark on it. No. Our story's similar, but they different for a reason. She got her path and I got mine. Love Sarah to death. Got so much, like, she's so powerful. Like, you got to see the power in people and what they trying to do, and not create a story to make you not feel bad about yourself. See what I'm saying? Yeah. We got to amass the ideal that success is found in riches or big platforms. I'm a very happy person. Like, I wake up every day when my feet hit the floor, I'm grateful. I'm thanking God my kids are healthy and mentally strong. All of them.
Isn't that the true definition of success, is just happiness when it's all said and done?
Exactly, but that's not how social media looks. So people get caught up in the you know what I'm saying, the trends, and they waking up, starting their day off with this drama that they created because That's not you.
Right.
You know, and so that's why I'm so confident, because I've had men literally tell me, you exactly who you are on social media. What? Wait, what? Yeah. Okay, so you've been meeting fake women on social media. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I recently had to say, my husband not in my DM. Y'all saw my DM. Damn, I should be big headed. Like, I should think, no, my husband not in my DM, and that's not cute to me, because
they shooting that shot through the DM.
Oh, it's going down in my DM. I can't get to the real stuff sometimes.
Right.
Trying to sift through the DM stuff.
You don't respond to none of them.
Oh, no. Certain people who, the way you come at me,
right,
I might say, sorry, I didn't get this. I'm not on Messenger, so it take me a minute. I have to be more responsible with getting to my Messenger, because if I don't go on my laptop and go on there, I'm not getting my messages.
Not even on your phone?
No, I'm not putting Messenger on my, because it's not that serious to me. That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm detached in a way that I people be like, you can't be disappearing off social media. You got to be consistent. But that's your opinion. I got to keep my sanity. So sometimes I need to social media. I'm not doing social media right now. When I wake up, I might post, but I'm not surfing, because I feel like if it's something I need to put out there for somebody who needs to hear it, I'm not going to miss it because I don't want to surf, right? Or get into it. But, I hate the fact that we lacking social skills. Like, men ain't even trying to ask me on a date. They trying to tell me how, they trying to impress
Netflix
me.
And chill.
First of all, they trying to impress me. And then, they not asking me, how you doing, baby girl? It's, oh my God, I saw you with that fine body. I know what my body look like. I work on this body. I don't wake up like this. I put in a little work. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So again, it's understanding, like, coping skills is huge. I'm training kids that don't even know what coping skills are. And we have them. I don't need nobody to tell me to read. I don't need nobody to tell me to write. I got what it takes inside of me. I just want to be able to help you tap into what that looks like. Okay. Because that's huge. If you understand how to cope. I had somebody tell me, yep, my grandmama beat my ass less when she was picking them beads out the bowl. She putting all these beads in a bowl full of color, and then she picking them out, separating them by color, and she putting them back in. She was coping. Okay. See, she wasn't doing drugs, because she was probably taking care of 9 grandkids. But she was coping through, I'm just going to sit here and do these beads. She probably couldn't say that's how she was coping. You see what I'm saying? Like, we got to strengthen our people to understand where our power lie. We built with what we need. Like, when God told that angel she can handle it, we can handle it. It's how we chose to do so. You know what I'm saying? And in the moments when you feeling low, you better put on that song. I don't care if it remind you of some dude that had you mad, but if it's going to bring a smile to your face and make you start moving your body where you feel good, I know what to do to bring myself right out of a situation. I know what to do. If a man had me feeling some type of way, I got you, boo-boo. I got you. Because I know what to do, and that's what it's about, knowing what to do for yourself and not feeling selfish. It takes a certain amount of selfishness to get somewhere in life. In the first place, I heard Bow Wow say, you can't try to take people with you because you ain't going to never get there. I didn't
Bow Wow?
get it. Because first I was like, quit. I used to be like, famous people always got something slick to say.
Bow Wow know out of everybody.
Bow Wow said,
say it again.
You cannot take people with you trying to get there, because the energy that people pull on you is what's holding you back. So when people be like, it's a big gap between me writing my first book and me writing now. I wrote my first book in 2005. Okay. You know what I'm saying? So then I'm asking God, like, why would I write in 2005? It didn't even do nothing. And God was like,
so testament.
Well, the world need to know too that you was willing to tell it before they was telling it. See, I said some stuff in my first book that people weren't talking about. So I felt like God said, so your validity gonna also come from, you start talking about it in 2005, ain't nobody gonna question, is this some story that's coming out the woodworks to create this perfect picture to appeal to people? I'm not trying to appeal to nobody. I'm trying to get people to understand we share common pain. We sharing trauma, we sharing grief, we sharing loss. How can I share? I'm hurt just like you. I'm broken just like you. Right. We I get it. I'm not perfect. How can I help you though? I want you to look at me and be like, if she could do it, I could do it. If she could get through that, I could get through that. That's what I'm trying to get out here so people can understand that we all suffer in some way, form, or format. One thing I love about Tom Buell's show is that every last one of them people who built themselves up, they fell flat on their face. All of them hit the flow like, oh my God, how do I come back from this? You know what I'm saying? But don't get caught up in, I can be happy and grateful for my life without being a millionaire. My kids are healthy. All my kids are alive. You know what that's like? I got 4 adult sons and 4 of them in their 30s. That's my story. Like, I got that alone should have me walking around here like you can't tell me nothing. All of them. All of them graduated on time with their senior class. All 4 of my oldest sons. That's a statistic that I don't know too many people with that story. I don't care where they came from. Okay. I got rich families, kids. All of them not doing that. So that shows you that has nothing to do with it. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah,
don't matter.
Before we get out of here, I do have one point I do want to ask you about that came from the book. It was a line where you said, "I take responsibility for having, I take responsibility for getting pregnant as a teen, but adults should be blamed for teen pregnancy as well." And I just was like, to me, that seemed like an oxymoron. Like, you're taking responsibility, but at the same time, you're placing blame. Okay,
that's probably not how I said it. So you might not be quoting it exactly. I don't know. But so you got to think about it, right? So I don't ever want to tell parents what to do with their kids. I'm not here to tell you need to be supervising your child. But what I can say, it's a lack of supervision. I wasn't ditching school.
Are you sure that's always the case, that a lack of supervision is what's leading to teen pregnancy?
No. I'm not saying that always the case. I'm saying, like, even in my situation at 12, I'm able to hang out outside at 12 with nobody supervising me. That's the point I'm making. So I became prey to men who saying, "Oh, ain't nobody watching her. I can promise her a bunch of stuff that I know her mama not doing. She gonna buy it. She gonna take the bait." That's what I'm saying. Like, even with my children, I set guidelines up. I set rules. But you can supervise your kids without having your eye on them. I'm a witness. I mean, my kids done what I said. I probably said some mean stuff, and they came back and told me, "Oh, when you told us if we had a baby as a kid, you was kicking us out." They believed me. I cried telling them that. But I know me, if as a grandmother and it's another teen mom and that mom tripping, I'm finna be another parent. But I'm a grandparent at the same time. So I don't want them having kids having to deal with the stuff that I had to deal with. So I felt like I needed to say something to make them believable. You start having babies, you think you grown, you getting out. Was I gonna put them out? Probably not. But in their little minds, because again, kids' minds, they don't. They told me they believed me. Yeah. They told me they was like.
Why would they not believe you though?
Exactly. So what I'm saying is, it's a way to instill a level of supervision in your children without physically being there. You know, I was a good mother. That's one thing I am gonna stand for. Was I perfect? No, but I'm confident. I know I gave my children the best I could. I did. I'm not backpedaling like, oh, I shouldn't have did that. I should have. No. My walk with my kids was, I'm doing the best I can. I'm giving them the best I can. Even now, I felt like I taught them. I didn't teach them how to live because I was so busy doing it for them.
Okay.
You see, it's like I can own that. Yeah. So a lot of skills that they may not have, I picked up on because I was so busy trying to do it and trying to make them feel safe. Because I didn't feel safe, or trying to make sure they was suited and booted because I didn't have clothes, trying to make sure they got 50 gifts at Christmas because I didn't have a Christmas, which they didn't even play with the toys 2 months later anyway, and later to come back and tell me they didn't care.
Yeah,
that's the stuff I'm talking about.
Right.
Okay.
So you can get yourself in there, but you got to be a role model.
In 2 minutes, if anybody want to copy your book, want to get a copy of your book or reach out to you, how can they contact you?
Well, my website is www.Lynne, Lynne, Jasames, JASAMES, .com. So anytime you can go to my website and always get me or order anything off my website. But I'm Lynne Jasames on all my platforms except on Twitter. Twitter is It's Okay to Cry. Okay. But the rest of my platforms is under my name. And remember, Lynn with an E and not James. It's Jasames, JASAMES.
Okay.
So, no, it's all good.
Any questions, Shannon?
Yeah, you've been quiet over there.
We got 2 minutes.
Well, because, I read the book, like, when you first brought it out. So that was right after I had my daughter. And, like, I know your story. Like, we've talked, I don't know what to do. Like, early mornings, like.
But you know what that do for me? You remind me of my purpose. You remind me to keep going. You remind me to keep taking them phone calls. You reminded me that I'm making a difference. Because sometimes we moving through life and we don't see it. Sometimes things are not happening in that space where we could be okay. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So it was a two-way street. I appreciate you.
I appreciate you, girl. I always have, though. You know that.
Yeah.
Long time.
We are out. This is a good episode. I enjoyed having you coming on the show and talking to us.
Well, thank you. Am I coming back?
Sure, anytime. When the new book dropping?
The new book dropping in August.
Okay.
It's dropping in August.
We'll hit you up then. We'll hit you up.
Yeah, y'all want to know what that bomber is? It's 2 twists in the book.
Oh yeah.
That's people gonna be like, because I was like, wait, God, you put that in there. You did that. You brought that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
We definitely want to know what that is. We'll be back.
Yeah, it's good. It's
The
good.
Popular Misfit Podcast. Thank you all for listening. Take care.
All right. What y'all think?